everybody, Matt Maran here for another quick drive video. So this time I'm in the all-new 2019 Subaru Forester, and so it is completely new from the ground up. It has the new global architecture that they're using here, and so it means that you have a much smoother ride. They really focused a lot on that with these new Foresters. It's the same underpinnings as the new Impreza, and they all are on this modular platform, and it's obviously, of course, been customized here for the Forester, but feels really nice going down the road. It's so smooth, and it's amazing just how easy it feels to drive. You have this massive windshield. I mean, it drops down so low. It really just feels like so easy, and just it's almost uncomparable. I'm trying to think of another SUV that has more forward visibility than this. I mean, you have nice thin A-pillars that are really easy to see around, and you know, a nice little extra quarter window here in the front to kind of see around this mirror very easily. Huge side windows, and view out of the back is great as well. So I mean, that alone, I mean, if you sit in one of these and start driving, you're just going to be amazed at just how friendly it feels just driving around, just how well you can see everything. Other things you note here at low speeds, throttle response is actually pretty responsive. So you have a CVT, and that always kind of gives a little bit of a disconnect, in my opinion, that I'm not a huge fan of. I wish it was just a normal automatic like some others use, but there are a lot of others that use CVTs these days as well, so it's not uncommon or out of the ordinary or anything. As I've come to a full stop, though, you might have heard there, it has the auto stop start technology, which is a first for the Forester and all new here. That's something that's been made possible because they're auto only for the Forester. You can't get them in a manual anymore, which is a little unfortunate as a manual lover. You also can't get the turbo engine anymore, the XT model. Now it's just the one standard engine, which has been updated a little bit. So it's still a 2.5 liter flat 4 boxer engine, but it now does 182 horsepower. And you also have 176 pound-feet of torque, which is all very good for, again, a non-turbo engine. You know, those are pretty good numbers for a 2.5 liter, right there with the Mazda CX-5 and stuff. But we'll turn that onto this back road here and see how it does. And here we go. There's the CVT kind of hanging on there a little bit. It gets up and goes really well. And I don't think there's a 0 to 60 time quoted by Subaru yet that I've seen. But you know, I would say you can guess somewhere in like the low 7-second range, I'm assuming, but don't quote me on that. But other things here about the Forester. Now, we're in the Touring trim, and there's a lot of really cool tech, especially in the Touring trim. One thing, though, that's standard to all trims for the Forester for 2019 here is that you have the EyeSight tech, and it's not dumbed down like other companies do, and some of the features only reserved for the top trim. All the features are in all trims. That means you get adaptive cruise control, even in a base model Forester, which is great. But one feature that is unique to the Touring, for now at least, is this driver focus system. I apologize, it's like pouring rain now all of a sudden, so there's extra noise here. But the driver focus system is a facial recognition thing that you sit down in the car, it will recognize your name on the top screen up there, and it'll dial in all the adjustments that you usually have. So it'll adjust the seat to whatever, you know, setup you want, the mirrors for the outside, you know, all the radio, all those types of things. It customizes to all your preferences, which is really cool, because I honestly don't even know of another vehicle that has facial recognition. We know that's something coming in the future from lots of different companies, and is a very futuristic tech that I'm sure everyone's going to be adopting, but for Subaru to put it in a vehicle so soon is really awesome. Another signature feature that Subaru always has is their all-wheel drive system, and that's something that's definitely appreciated here, especially on these slick, rainy roads on this back road here. And they also have improved the all-wheel drive system from what I've seen. You know, this new X mode system now, and my buddy Jason Fensky, Engineering Explained, has a great video discussing that, and you know what makes X mode unique and all that type of stuff, and I can link his video there to check out if you'd like to learn more. But yeah, other things though, while we're talking about stuff on this interior, it's just a really nicely done new interior. The Touring trim is really just nicely trimmed with lots of leather, you know, for the seats. They're nice and soft, very, very comfortable seats. Nice padding on the doors and stuff. You do still have some plastics in other parts of the vehicle here. Some stuff that's a little bit harder down by the door handle pull and a few other places. But overall, it's actually a pretty nice feeling interior. You have nice padding right by the driver's knee here, which is much appreciated. I love this dual screen setup that you have in the Forester. It's something also is in the Ascent, but it has a really nice high resolution screen up on the top part there. It gives you all kinds of info and is a really great little screen there. And then you have coming down your normal infotainment screen here, which has nicely been revamped even over the past year or two. And so that now has Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, which is a great improvement, and lots of other features built into it. And it also is very attractive looking. I really like the way that looks. And yeah, everything in here just feels pretty nice. Now, it's not super sporty, I mean, these seats I wish had a little bit tighter bolstering, but you have to remember the demographic Subaru is going for here, the mainstream buyer. This isn't an enthusiast model or something. Maybe someday they will have an STI version of the Forester. That would be great here for the States. But in the meantime, it's a really great commuter vehicle that still does handle itself very well. They did a good job of keeping the weight pretty low here on these new Foresters as well. So they weigh under 3,500 pounds now. I think it's 3449. And so, like I said, the roads are pretty wet, but going around a couple of corners here, just to get a little bit of a sample for the handling, I will say it's pretty flat, and I think that goes back to that low weight that really helps to keep this, nicely in check as far as, feeling very light on its feet and, pretty athletic just because you have, again, such light weight you're dealing with. I really like the brakes here in the Forester. There's a little bit of travel, but then they start biting down pretty soon. It's really a quick responsive brake pedal, which I appreciate, because the Ascent that I drove, that had a lot more travel before you started getting the braking action. Maybe it's just a difference in the condition of the two vehicles or something, but this feels a lot more responsive to braking than the Ascent did, which I really appreciate. Again, there's pros and cons to each. Some people prefer a less sensitive brake pedal, so they don't have to be quite as sensitive with their inputs. But I personally really like whenever brake pedals are nice and responsive right at the top of the pedal like this one is. But yes, there's not a whole lot more that I can get into here in this quick drive video without spending more time with the new Forester here. But I'm hoping to get one at some point to review for you guys and do my full in-depth video on it then. But overall, my first impression, I am very impressed with the Forester here. It's, again, for the market that it's going for, I do wish it was a little bit sportier and things like that, but there's always room for a performance model maybe, since that is starting to pick up with these hot performance SUVs, maybe Subaru will, tap STI to do something like that. And who knows, I mean, they have the motor in the Ascent, the 2.4 liter, with its, 260 horsepower to make a great, new Forester XT if that was something they wanted to do. They have the ability to, so fingers crossed, maybe someday something like that will happen. But in the meantime, yeah, I think it's really great, and for the market Subaru's going for, I'm sure it'll do very well for them. So anyway, thank you guys very much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on the new Forester in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.